Permanent Secretary, Budget Office, Nigeria, and host of this event, Dr. David Ukoha. Directors of Parliamentary Budget Offices from member countries present. Clerk, Senate, Clerk, House of Representatives, and their deputies here present. Secretaries of Directorates of the National Assembly present at this event and their counterparts from member countries. Dr. Miriam Maruf Yakubu, the admin head of National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRO. Distinguished resource persons, panelists, discussants, very many distinguished honorable members of parliament from the various member countries, translators, rapporteurs, distinguished members of the press. Your Excellencies, honorable parliamentarians, esteemed delegates, respected secretaries and directors of parliamentary budget offices in Africa, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nigeria. It gives me immense pleasure to stand before you at this 8th annual conference of a network of parliamentary budget offices and independent fiscal institutions, ANPBO, here at the prestigious Abuja Continental Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria, to welcome all and sundry to this epoch-making event. This year has a very inspiring theme: the role of parliamentary budget offices in Africa's parliament's fiscal oversight, contribution to the Africa 2063 development agenda. This theme, you'll agree with me, not only resonates with aspirations of the African continent, but also challenges all of you to deepen accountability, transparency, and inclusiveness in your fiscal governance structures as we march towards Africa's shared vision and values. We are honored by the presence of participants drawn from 15 member countries: Cape Verde, the Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Africa, and the Zambia. Your presence at this conference speaks to the commitment to Africa's parliaments and fiscal institutions to building stronger, more resilient, and more virile economies. Please permit me at this juncture to particularly recognize and celebrate one of our finest, our special guest of honor, a Pan-African statesman, a patriot, a trailblazer by all means, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Nigeria, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, whose visionary leadership continues to inspire parliamentary excellence. Please, a warm round of applause for him, please. We're equally very privileged to have the ANPBO Governing Council Chairman, who doubles as the chairman of this occasion and also doubles as a Director Parliamentary Budget Office South Africa, as a distinguished chairman of this conference, Professor Dumisani Jantij. Please, a round of applause for him as we march along. As our chief host, also here with us, a very fine gentleman of immense intellect and patriotism, Mr. Kamaru Ogunlana Esquire, whose support has been very invaluable in convening this August event and at this conference taking place in September. Please, a warm round of applause for him, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this conference is a platform for dialogue, a platform for collaboration, and a platform for the exchange of best practices and ideas. It is therefore an opportunity to help sharpen the tools of fiscal oversight and strengthen the institutional capacity that will help shape the Africa of tomorrow, bearing in mind your target of 2063 for Africa's development agenda. I therefore want to invite one and all to fasten your intellectual seatbelts, open your minds to the wealth of knowledge that will be shared, and enjoy the richness of interactions as we embark on this journey together. Welcome to Africa, welcome to Abuja, welcome to Nigeria, and welcome to the 8th ANPBO Annual Conference 2025. Can we hear that applause for ANPBO? It is on that note, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that I make bold at this point in time to then invite to blaze the trail with the welcoming remarks, as I invite in no particular order, but I'd like to start with the Nigerian counterpart, Dr. Mariam Maruf Yakubu, Admin Head of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRU, to please do us the honor of welcoming all and sundry to this event most formally. Can we please make that applause for her a lot more formal?
Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON. The Clerk to the National Assembly, Mr. Kamoru Obulana, the Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Engineer Bashir. All protocol observed. It is my singular pleasure and privilege as a Director and as Administrative Head of National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRO, to welcome you all to the 8th ANPBO Annual Conference here in our vibrant city of Abuja, Nigeria. This year, as the host to our distinguished network of 16 member countries, which are Cape Verde, Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and our proud nation, Nigeria. We gather under a shared vision that is strengthening the capacity and collaboration of parliamentary budget offices across Africa. And let me not forget about the participation of the British Parliament. The significance of this gathering: our annual conference has grown in stature, relevance, and impact, becoming a cornerstone for knowledge exchange, peer learning, and advancement of sound fiscal governance across African continent. That is our continent. The theme of this year 2025 meeting is consistent with the previous years, which is reflecting our dedication to transparency, accountability, and pursuit of excellence in budget analysis and parliamentary support. Each year, our collective efforts reverberate beyond these walls, shaping policies and fostering innovations in our respective countries. Abuja, the heart of Nigeria. Abuja, with its blend of tradition and modernity, stands ready to offer you all an atmosphere of warmth, hospitality, and rich cultural experience. From its iconic landmarks to the spirit of its people, we hope you will find inspiration and camaraderie and renewed energy for the important work ahead. My thoughts: as we commence the 8th ANPBO conference, I urge each delegate to approach our proceedings with openness, curiosity, and determination. The challenge before us are significant, but united by purpose and shared commitment, we are well positioned to chart a new course for budgetary excellence across Africa. On behalf of NABRO, that is the host, and the people of Nigeria, I send a heartfelt gratitude to you all for your presence and participation. May our deliberations be fruitful, our connections enduring, and our impact profound. Welcome to Abuja. Welcome to the 8th AMPBO conference. Thank you.
Can we please give her yet another round of applause? And I hope that the welcome is as warm as expected. At the end of these exercises that you'll be having to get engaged in for the next couple of days, when you're done, and whilst you are even on it, please don't hesitate to taste the Nigerian jollof rice. That's exactly what she wanted to say to you, because it's a delicacy that you can even export from here. And I'm telling you, we have a way of preserving it for you. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Mariam Maruf Yakobo. Thank you so very much. It is then very pertinent, after the welcome, we invite our very cultural, highly celebrated cultural troops. We won't have enough time to be able to take all of them, but we'll just take one for starters. At the end of this exercise, when you're having the gala night, we'll be able to have more time for them to showcase what stuff they're made of. This is one amongst the very many cultural troops that we have in Nigeria. We're exporting to different parts of the world, and many musicians from across the globe have been copying our dance steps. Watch out for what these ones will showcase this morning. Let's welcome the cultural troupe for a brief performance, please. Cultural performance. Please get another microphone over to them quickly, please. Thank you.
From North Africa, East Africa, South Africa, Central Africa, I welcome you to Nigeria, a land of peace, unity, and progress. Nigeria is indeed royalty, and Africa is royalty. So today we welcome you in a royal way. From northern Nigeria, the Emir rules in ancient wisdom and royalty, custodian of culture. And from the lush creeks of the South, where the monarch rules the oil-rich cities, the Oba of Benin, in his majesty. And from the heartbeats of the southeast Nigeria, where the drums speak and the masquerade dance, the Igwe, dressed in culture and legacy, the voice of a proud people. And from southwest Nigeria, where the talking drum whispers the wisdom of Oduduwa, comes His Royal Majesty, the Oba. But today, it's not just about royalty. Today, it's about beauty. It's about music. It's about momentum. Today is about energy. Today is about the heartbeats of a nation, the soul of Nigeria in motion.
The crown has spoken and the dancers have moved. But Nigeria is not just about movement. Nigeria is all about its people. Bold, strong, reliable, very strong and beautiful people. Bold and energetic. Please welcome the people of Nigeria. forget why we are gathered here today. From every part of Africa that you come from, not just to speak, but to shape, and not just to plan, but to believe in the unity of Africa, to believe in the power of good governance, and to believe in Africa. Now there's a mountain to climb, we're leaving no one behind. This is our time to shine. Woo!
Can you feel it across the lake, through the heartache and pain? After the storm comes the rain. I can see it where we all walk free in the night, and the land is clean in our eyes like a beautiful moon that shines throughout the night. So together we say, yes, I believe that there's no mountain we can climb. We can make it if we try. If we all say, yes, I believe. One more time, one more time. Yes, I believe. 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 Together, can we do it together one more time? Yes, I believe. 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 Yes, I believe.
A round of applause for them for that wonderful and scintillating performance. Thank you so much. You see the special guest of honor and chief host, all of them standing in the honor. Thank you, and thank you so very much. The royalties are returning to their dressing room. They will emerge from that dressing room on the day of your gala night. That is when you'll see them again. Please a round of applause one more time. This is Nigeria for you. And this is our hope that in the nearest future, Africa will begin to sing to one tune, dance the same dance, and sing the same kind of song. That is the unity that binds all of us. Please, one more round of applause for Africa. Thank you so very, very much. For want of time, Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, the person I'm inviting next to the podium for his remarks as the distinguished chairman of this occasion and chairperson of the ANPBOGC is a man who is a towering figure in South Africa, serving as the director of Parliamentary Budget Office. He's been involved in various significant discussions and analysis related to South Africa's budgetary processes and economic policies. And of course, this man's key areas of expertise include, but not limited to, budget scrutiny and approval, government structure, poverty and multidimensional issues, economic growth and gender responsiveness, and notable amongst his activities, Your Excellencies, are very many other things that time would not permit me to reel out here. But overall, the man is a respected voice in South Africa's economic and budgetary discourse, contributing valuable perspectives through his role as the Parliamentary Budget Officer Director. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the President and Chairperson of this occasion, Professor Dumisani Janjis. Please a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Thank you so much, Andy, for such a lovely welcome. You know, Andy, I must say, every time African dance and African culture, traditional culture, it often invokes the spirit of the ancestors. So I feel you very welcome of such a lovely dance. Honorable Speaker of the Nigerian National Assembly, the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Kamuro Ogumlana, esteemed members of the ANPBO, African National Parliamentary Network of Budget of Governing Council, fellow heads of Parliamentary Budget Office and independent fiscal institutions from different countries, honorable members of Parliament, legislatures. We've got a very diverse group, so I'd really want to recognize and appreciate the opportunity for coming here for this important event in our continent. Distinguished guests, partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and I'm very warm and a very warm welcome to Abuja for our 8th annual conference. It is a deep, great honor to stand before you this morning. I wish to begin by extending our deepest gratitude to our gracious host, National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, and the people of Nigeria. Thank you so much for having us here. Your warm hospitality is deeply appreciated and sets an inspiring stage for our deliberations this week. For those who are joining us for the first time, and as a reminder to all of us, it is worth reflecting on why this network was established or why we are here today. The African Network Parliamentary Budget Office was founded on the fundamental principle that a robust, independent, and non-partisan fiscal analysis is essential for the effective parliamentary oversight in our continent. And NABRO is one of the 5 founding members of this network in 2016, and we're very, very grateful that you're hosting us today. We recognize in the establishment of this network that while many of our legislatures were establishing budget offices or similar entities, this institution often face similar capacity challenges within our spaces. As a collective, we decided to create a uniquely African platform for collaboration where we also recognize and invite our peers and colleagues from other continents and regions. We, as entrenched within our network charter, our overall objective is to contribute to the effective utilization of public resources, particularly in the context of the African Union's agenda for 2063. How is our role as BBOs entities support our legislatures in driving us to achieve those? By enhancing economic and budgetary oversight role of our legislatures, we're committed to achieving some of these objectives, developing common and standards and innovative tools for analysis, documenting and sharing best practice from across the continent and elsewhere in the world, facilitating the exchange of knowledge and experiences among our members, and serving as a unified forum for deliberate on major economic and fiscal matters affecting our nations and our continent in particular. This shared mission is a bedrock upon all our work is built on. I really want to quickly reflect, and as we convene today, we must ground our discussions in the turbulent global reality that we're dealing with now. The international landscape is fraught with uncertainty, what many now refer to as a persistent policy crisis. While the multilateral institution latest focus for growth for 2025 is slightly revised upward to 4.9% for the current year compared to previous focus, the institutions remain deeply concerned about the high degree of risks and instability within the global world. We are witnessing significant shifts in the global order. Geopolitical tensions continue to escalate from conflicts in the Middle East, across our continent as well, to a realignment of long-standing alignments. A major driver of the instability in the increasingly unpredictable nature of the global trade. As highlighted in many of the analyses, the move towards unilateral tariffs and action outside established international framework is creating profound uncertainty. And the UNCTAD has warned that these uncertainties can be more disruptive than the tariffs themselves. Destabilizing financial markets, tightening credit conditions and causing vital investment shortfall much needed in our continent. These global headwinds do not impact all nations equally. Developing countries, particularly in our continent, we are disproportionately vulnerable to these headwinds. Our economies are more exposed to disruptions in global value chain, volatile capital flows, and ever-worsening impact of climate change. On our continent, this is compounded by persistent inflation and rising debt service costs and consume an ever large share of revenue, squeezing out much needed investments in our society. This complex and volatile picture underscores precisely why our institutions exist, and the network itself. In an environment of competing priorities and significant fiscal pressures, the role of budget office and independent fiscal institutions becomes indispensable. Our core mandate is to provide legislatures with credible, non-partisan, and evidence-based analysis needed to navigate these external shocks in particular, and hence important to provide this contact. Effectively, we equipped our parliamentarians with the effective analysis firepower to move beyond political rhetoric and engage the executive on the substantive fiscal choices that will determine our nation's economic focus. It is particularly fitting that we gather in Nigeria today as a nation at a pivotal moment. Recent reports from multilateral institutions highlight that the bold macroeconomic reforms undertaken here are beginning to yield positive results in Nigeria, improving the fiscal position and strengthening the financial markets as well. Economic growth for last year reached 3.4% of Nigeria. It is the highest rate in a decade, a clear sign that the tide is beginning to turn. Yet significant hurdles remains. High inflation continues to pressure households in our society. Business poverty levels remain serious high in our country. This context makes fiscal oversight role of NABRO more crucial than ever. The challenge now is to consolidate these gains and translate macroeconomic stability into inclusive growth and tangible development within Nigeria. NABRO's mandate is central to ensuring that public funds are channeled effectively towards building human capital, closing infrastructure gaps, and creating the productive jobs needed to lift millions out of poverty. Nigeria's journey offers powerful lessons for all of us when you're sitting here. A year ago in Kampala, we concluded with powerful call for actions. I'm proud to report back to the network our continued growth, our capacity building webinar programs have been cornerstone of our knowledge sharing, and our partnerships remains steadfast. But as we grow, colleagues and members and colleagues, we must also be international. As we grow, we must also be intentional about how we grow. As a relatively young network, we have a unique opportunity to build an institution that truly reflects the rich diversity of our continent. We must be a mirror of the inclusive society we wish to help create. This deliberate championing diversity in all forms ensures meaningful representations. This includes ensuring meaningful representation of women, youth, people living with disability in our programs. Making NPBO a leading example of inclusivity where every voice is valued and every perspective contributes to our collective engagement. This year marks a significant evolution in the spirit of inclusiveness of our network. For the first time, Honorable Speaker, we have a specific platform for our colleagues from the regional, provincial, and county level budget offices. This is a tremendous improvement, formally bringing the vital work at the sub-national level into the continental discussions in this regard. Our growth is also measured by our partnerships. We have non-African. I want to also extend our special acknowledgement to OBR, our colleagues from the UK who are here today with us, and remind members that we have so many other non-African partners who are here. And OBR has been with us since 2016, and their valuable contribution, including their participation again this year, is deeply appreciated. The economic headwinds makes the path of achieving the goals of Agenda 2063 even steeper. PPOs and IFIs are essentially a bridge between the great aspiration of the Agenda 2063 and the practical year-on-year reality of our national budget. Our analysis empowers our legislatures to hold government accountable on alignment of public finance within these developmental goals we set ourselves with. Our program today, as I conclude, is different, is a direct response to these pressures that I've noted above. We will confront the global macroeconomic situation. We'll dive deeper into the public debts management and champion inclusive growth debate as well. We will explore new frontiers from oversight of the digital economy, ensuring climate finance accountability is also discussed. We're also proud to very excited for the session of economic modeling, where we will learn a powerful tool on transforming our complex data into strategic foresight. Colleagues, members, another speaker, our mission extends beyond technical analysis as we hear this week. We are guardians of the fiscal transparency and pillars of democratic accountability within the continent. As we engage in the sessions ahead, I urge you to think critically, share openly, and build lasting partnership. Let us leave Abuja. I don't know if I want to leave. Let us leave Abuja not just with few knowledge, but with renewed sense of purpose. Once again, my sincere thank you to Nigerian hosts, to delegates, and I wish you a fruitful week ahead. And thank you so much, Ansho, for the opportunity for hosting us. I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you also, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Please, can I call for yet a bigger round of applause for the chairman of this conference, who also doubles as the chairman ANPBO Governing Council. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I just want to quickly remind us that this program is being televised live on national television stations such as the Nigerian Television Authority, TVC, and the National Assembly Television. And we're also streaming live on social media platforms. Thank you, and thank you very much for your attention. Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, for brevity of time, permit me at this point to introduce and welcome a consummate administrator, a seasoned legal mind, and a custodian of parliamentary traditions, who himself has a whole lot of institutional memory and has continued to steer the engine room of the legislature with uncommon professionalism and integrity. His commitment to order, due process, and excellence in service has earned him the respect of colleagues and the admiration of very wider public. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, as our chief host of this all-important gathering, we salute him, we celebrate him, and thank him for his tireless labor in strengthening the pillars of legislative governance across Africa. Please join me, without much ado, welcoming the clerk to the National Assembly, Barrister Kamaru Ogunlana. Please, a warm round of applause for him as he comes up to the podium for his remarks of a chief host. We can do better with that round of applause.
Thank you, the MCMD. Before I start, I would like to make an appeal to the chairperson of the network. When I look at the list of the participating countries, I observe that virtually all Commonwealth countries in Africa are members, but except Cameroon. We know that Cameroon is bilingual. I have a special bond. Obviously, I'm a Nigerian. Cameroon is my birthplace. So I'm appealing to make a case so you can talk to them to join this forum so that they can take the benefit. I haven't said that. I'm in a dilemma because I know that the speaker, about now there is a similar function that is organized by the National Assembly, and the Speaker is supposed to be there in person. But he had decided to come here first. And one of the reasons is because he's here. That's why we are taking this program on live coverage. I want him to have that benefit of addressing Nigerians. So for that reason, I'm going to be straight and direct in my presentation. The Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCON. The Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly management staff, the chairperson and members of the executive of the African Network of Parliamentary Budget Office, the Executive Secretary, National Assembly Library Trust Fund, the heads and representatives of parliamentary budget offices here present, representative of development partners and international agency here present, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the 8th Annual Conference of the African Network of Parliamentary Budget Offices here in the beautiful city of Abuja, Nigeria. On behalf of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I extend our warmest greetings to all our distinguished participants from across the continent. This gathering is a continuation of the tradition of excellence and collaboration that defines the ANPBO, but also a reaffirmation of our shared commitments to strengthen democratic governance and fiscal accountability in the African continent. The ANPBO is a critical platform for peer learning, capacity building, and promoting the institutionalization of evidence-based public finance management. The strides made so far are commendable. Improved legislative scrutiny, enhanced transparency, and an increasingly informed citizenry. These achievements are a testament to the vision and hard work of every member state present here. In Nigeria, we continue to witness the positive impact of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRO, whose technical analysis and objective reporting have become an invaluable tools in the legislative process in the National Assembly. We recognized similar successes across the continent, and we are inspired by the dedication of each national parliament here present. However, our work is far from done as we face evolving economic, social, and environmental challenges, from debt sustainability to public sector reform. The role of parliamentary budget offices has never been more vital. I encourage us all to use this conference not only as a platform for exchange, but as a springboard for innovation and renewed commitment to fiscal representability. Let us all reflect on how we can broaden participation, deepen impact, and build more resilient institutions. As I conclude, let me use this opportunity to thank the Speaker for honoring our invitation. As a matter of fact, His Presidency has not only added color to this conference, Yes, actually, his presence here represents the importance in National Assembly. When I say National Assembly, I'm talking of both houses, even though the Senate President is not here. But the mere fact that the Speaker is here, it means the Senate President is equally in support of this program. I want to equally commend the organizers, the facilitators, and the delegates for their commitments to this important cause. Nigeria is proud to host this year's conference and stands ready to support the ANPBO in fulfilling its noble mission. May your deliberation be productive, your collaboration enduring, and your stay in Nigeria memorable. Thank you.
Please, I'd like that we appreciate the clerk to the National Assembly as the chief host of this event one more time. Thank you very much indeed. A clarion call to all of you. Time to reflect, time to deepen participation and inclusiveness, and of course, to make our laudable contributions to the dialogues that will ensue at this conference. Please, one more round of applause for the CNA. Thank you so much, sir. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, it is my singular honor and privilege to invite to the podium a man whose name has become synonymous with parliamentary excellence across Africa, a man with visionary leadership and an unflinching commitment to the service of our great nation and indeed the continent of Africa. He's a tested legislator, a bridge builder and a reformer whose passion for strengthening democratic institutions has continued to inspire both colleagues of his and citizens alike. And as the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he stands pretty very tall as the custodian of the people's mandate and also as a shining example of integrity, resilience, and statesmanship. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome our special guest of honor, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCUON, Speaker, House of Representatives, to deliver his remarks and formally declare the 8th ANPBO Annual Conference open. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Please, you may sit down. Thank you. Professor Dumisani Jantris, the chairperson of African Nigeria Parliamentary Assembly Budget Offices. Mr. Kamoru Ogolana Esquire, the clerk of the National Assembly of Nigeria. Engineer Bashir Iyero, FNSE, the deputy clerk of the National Assembly. Honorable Henry N., the Executive Secretary of the National Assembly Trust Fund, Secretaries of Directories of the National Assembly, the former clerk to the National Assembly, Alhaji Sani Tambuan, delegates from African countries here present, other invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly and deeply honored to deliver this keynote address at the 8th Annual African Network of Parliamentary Budget Offices Conference. I extend my gratitude to the organizers of this conference for arranging it and for inviting me to present the keynote. I'm equally honored to accept your request to serve as patron of the network. It is indeed a big honor. My vision for the network is that it serves as a dynamic platform that enhances the ability of African parliaments to conduct transparent, evidence-based budgeting and maintain rigorous fiscal oversight. The theme of this conference, the role of PBOs in African parliaments, fiscal oversight, contribution to the African 2063 Development Agenda, is timely and significant. The primary focus of my address is on the importance of robust parliamentary fiscal oversight backed by independent and capable parliamentary budget offices for achieving sustainable development in Nigeria and indeed across Africa. In my address, I will provide data-driven insights into our continent's fiscal situation, the challenges we encounter in oversight, the legislative measures we are pursuing, including Nigeria's own National Assembly Budget and Research Office initiative, and the prospect for regional cooperation to promote good governance. I start with the African's development context, opportunities, and fiscal realities. Africa is at the crucial crossroads in its history, with a population of approximately 1.4 billion people, roughly 1/6 of humanity. Our continent is young, growing and brimming with potentials. Nigeria, as Africa's most populous nation, with over 200 million people and a GDP of around $477 billion in 2022, carries a special responsibility in this African story. We are a continent of abundant resources and talented youth, and we have bold ambitions captured in the African Union's Agenda 2063, which serves as the blueprint for the Africa we want. However, the path to realizing this vision remains difficult. Economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa is recovering, although modestly, with the World Bank projecting an increase from 3.3% in 2024 to 3.5% in 2025. This is indeed encouraging, but it is not yet sufficient to meet our development needs. Poverty remains widespread. An estimated 464 million Africans live in extreme poverty as of 2024. Unemployment and underemployment, especially among young people, are urgent issues. Each year, 12 million young Africans enter the labor market, yet only around 3 million formal jobs are created. This gap in opportunities highlights a potential demographic dividend that could turn into a demographic risk if we do not take action. People across Africa demand and deserve economic policies that result in food on the table, jobs for the youth, and better public services. Crucially, development strategies in our various countries, including national and continental development plans, must be adequately reflected in government budgets and supported by robust oversight. People look to their parliaments to carefully align public spending with broader development objectives and thoughtfully consider the voices of their constituents in fiscal decision-making. I will speak on some key challenges in fiscal oversight, debt and deficit and leakages. Effective fiscal oversight faces significant challenges grounded in hard realities that we must confront with equally hard data. One major challenge is public debt. When managed prudently, it can serve as a catalyst for development. Recently, a speech delivered by the House leader at the West African Parliamentary Conference was erroneously and mischievously reported out of context, creating the false impression that the House of Representatives does not support the borrowing strategy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. We wish to state clearly that this interpretation is both inaccurate and misleading. The 10th House, and indeed the National Assembly, have consistently affirmed that in the face of present developmental needs, strategic and responsible borrowing is an essential fiscal tool. Like every modern economy, Nigeria must sometimes leverage credit to finance critical infrastructure, stimulate growth, and protect vulnerable populations. What is important and what the President has assured is that all borrowings remains targeted, transparent, and sustainable, consistent with Nigeria's medium-term debt strategy and guided by global best practices. Under President Tinubu's leadership, borrowed funds are being channeled towards transformative projects that will expand revenue-generating capacity, such as power, transport, and agriculture, rather than for consumption. The House stands firmly behind the President's vision of using judicious borrowing as a catalyst for growth and poverty reduction, while simultaneously strengthening oversight mechanisms. Another critical challenge is revenue leakage through corruption, illicit financial flows, and inefficiency. African countries collectively lose staggering sums that never find their way into developmental programs. According to the African Development Bank, Africa loses over $587 billion annually to capital flight. That is money that flees the continent through corruption, illicit trade, mispricing, and profit shifting by multinational corporations, among other channels. Corruption alone is estimated to drain about $148 billion from Africa annually. And other illicit financial flows such as trade malpractices, smuggling, among others, siphon away additional tens of billions of dollars. This money that should be used to build roads in Lagos, equip hospitals in Nairobi, or improve schools in Accra, but instead it vanishes. Nigeria presents a cautionary example of both the challenge and urgency of oversight. In our public procurement processes, which make up a significant part of government spending, Nigeria loses an estimated $18 billion each year to financial crimes, roughly 3.8% of our GDP. These leaks could fund numerous social programs many times over. There is a need to stop such leakages so that budgets can lead to better outcomes for citizens. That is why we have been increasing oversight hearings, audit inquiries, and strengthening anti-corruption laws. Oversight is vital in ensuring that limited resources are used for the public good. Institutional capacity constraints also pose a challenge. Many African parliaments have historically lacked independent analytical resources to effectively scrutinize budget and expenditures. Without access to high-quality fiscal data and economic analysis, legislators may struggle to hold the executive to account on complex issues of macroeconomic policy, debt sustainability, or public investment efficiency. This gap is exactly what parliamentary budget offices are meant to fill. In the face of these challenges, we are responding with reforms to strengthen the legislative power of the purse and ensure accountability. One of the most significant advancements in Nigeria is the effort to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office as an independent, not partisan budget office for our legislature. I am pleased to note that the House of Representatives passed the NABRO bill on December 21st, 2023, and it is currently awaiting concurrence by the Senate. This initiative, once it becomes law, will establish a dedicated institution to provide expert budget analysis, economic forecast, and policy impact assessments for the National Assembly. Let me at this juncture assure this audience that the National Assembly is fully committed to NABRO's realization, full funding, and independence. We envisage NABRO as a catalyst for evidence-based budgeting, comparable to the renowned U.S. Congressional Budget Office, CBO. The CBO is often cited as the gold standard, providing nonpartisan analysis to support the U.S. Congress. Our aspiration is for NABRO to, in time, rival or exceed the CBO in analytical capacity and credibility. We will insist on statutory provisions to safeguard NABRO's autonomy, ensuring it has access to all necessary fiscal data and insulating its reports from political interference. The NABRO legislation has been crafted with these principles in mind. Beyond NABRO, the Nigerian legislature is advancing a broader fiscal governance agenda. We are revising our fiscal responsibility and finance laws to enhance budgetary discipline and transparency. We are empowering our public accounts committees to take decisive action on audit findings. Additionally, we recognize that institutions are only as strong as their people. Therefore, we are investing in developing the technical skills of our lawmakers and staff by training them in budget analysis, economics, and accounting so that they can more effectively scrutinize government finances. Furthermore, we are strengthening Nigeria's procurement laws, particularly through the ongoing reforms of the Public Procurement Act, to close loopholes, improve competitive bidding, and increase value for money in public spending. Alongside these reforms, anti-graft agencies are being empowered to plug leakages, tackling losses that cost Nigeria an estimated 4% of its GDP each year. To confront these fiscal and governance challenges effectively, I strongly recommend that African parliaments embrace cutting-edge technology and artificial intelligence as critical tools of reform. Around the world, parliaments are already demonstrating how data analytics, machine learning, and digital platforms can transform budget scrutiny and anti-corruption efforts. For example, in Estonia, one of the most digitally advanced governments globally, AI-driven systems streamline procurement oversight and flag irregularities in public contracts before they become scandals. Similarly, South Korea's digital budget and accounting system integrates real-time tracking of expenditures and has significantly reduced leakages by ensuring that every transaction is transparent and auditable. Nigeria and our sister African countries can no longer rely on outdated manual practices that slow oversight and dilute accountability. In our National Assembly today, it is still common for committees to request up to 30 printed copies of documents from ministries, departments, and agencies for budget defense or investigative hearings. During sensitive investigations, some agencies have even resorted to deliberately inundating committees with mountains of documents, irrelevant annexes, duplicated files, and technical jargon designed to confound and obfuscate. Over the years, these paper submissions have littered basements and overflowed every storage space in the National Assembly, creating inefficiency, waste, and a physical reminder of our outdated processes. By embracing modern tools, we can reverse this trend. AI-assisted audit software can rapidly scan and analyze thousands of pages of financial records, identifying anomalies or trends that might otherwise be buried. Natural language processing and machine learning models can categorize and summarize submissions within minutes, allowing committees to focus on the substantive issues. Blockchain-based platforms can secure procurement processes and ensure traceability, while interactive public budget portals can empower citizens with direct access to fiscal data. These innovations could significantly enhance the capacity of parliaments, parliamentary committees, and especially parliamentary budget offices such as NABRO, making their analysis more timely, accurate, and resistant to manipulations. By harnessing technology and AI, committees can modernize their processes, bridge information gaps, deter corruptions, and enhance transparency. Let me quickly talk about regional cooperation and shared opportunities for reform, because it is relevant to what you are here for. No country can achieve the goals of fiscal transparency and sustainable development in isolation. African parliaments and PBOs are more to gain by working together. The African Network for Parliamentary Budget Offices is invaluable in this regard. It provides a platform for African PBOs and similar institutions to meet and share ideas and experience in order to strengthen support for parliamentary fiscal oversight. We must leverage this network to raise oversight standards across the continent. Encouragingly, several African parliaments have established PBOs, and others are following suit. By sharing experiences, we can identify which governance structures are most effective, how PBOs can be best integrated into the budget process, and how to tailor analysis to meet legislators' needs. Newer offices can gain invaluable lessons from more established PPOs. Conversely, seasoned PPOs can also learn from the innovative approaches of newer ones. One promising avenue for cooperation is developing common analytical tools and data frameworks. Fiscal issues often transcend borders. Consider public debt or the economic impacts of the African continental free trade. If PPOs across Africa adopt compatible models for, say, revenue forecasting and share data and publications, the quality of budget scrutiny will improve everywhere. We could envision joint training programs for PBO staff or an Africa repository of fiscal data and research that all our parliaments can draw upon. We also need a united front against illicit financial flows and aggressive tax evasion strategies that deprive our nations of revenue. These issues do not respect national borders. African legislators, through forums like the INPPO and beyond, can support each other in advocating for reforms such as stronger tax treaties, the exchange of financial intelligence, and the repatriation of stolen assets. When one country tightens oversight on, for example, multinational profit shifting, it sets a precedent that others can follow, thereby shrinking the overall space for corruption and capital flight across Africa. By sharing ideas and experiences in forums like this, we can learn from one another and apply those lessons in our daily lives. We should take advantage of easy opportunities for cooperation. Better oversight in any African country benefits all African countries on the continent by making the continent more transparent, stable, and prosperous. Honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to conclude by saying that our pursuit of economic accountability and development in Africa will be challenging, but it is possible through determined action and collective effort. The commitment of parliamentarians must be steadfast. However, parliaments alone cannot accomplish this on their own. We need the support and cooperation of our executive counterparts, civil societies, media, and international partners. With these remarks, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to formally declare this conference open. May God bless African continent. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can come even louder than that. Let it resonate in the corners of Africa. Yes, I'd like to invite the president and chairperson of this conference, General Counsel, so please join us here with the clerk to the National Assembly. He's coming with Dr. Mariam. First, you're going to have to hand over the instrumental part to the speaker. And then, of course, yes, after that, we'll also present to the clerk to the National Assembly. Okay. As soon as it is presented to the speaker, we'll be inviting the clerk to the National Assembly to do us the honor of opening that instrument so that we can also have a view of what it looks like. Mr. President, the microphone is yours. Dr. Mariam on this side and Clark on the other side. Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you so much once more. Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. This is a symbol of we give up to you as a patron, and it has a globe on it and the time in it. The globe symbolizes a global perspectiveness and interconnectedness. The globe represents the world of opportunity and the interconnectedness of the nations, just as you lead our National Assembly here, but also we recognize you as a patron for the network. It signifies the global standards of governance and legislative excellence that you uphold. It reminds us that our decisions here in Nigeria have a ripple effect impacting our place in the global community. And the clock represents time, progress, and importance of timely action. The clock at its base symbolizes the critical importance of the time in governance. It reminds us as the challenges facing our nation, our continent, our globe requires timely and decision action. It signifies the passage of the time and the legacy you've built, and we're hoping to help us build at a continental level. It speaks to the fact that now is a time for action, for the progress, and for securing better continent going forward. The AAPBO GC believes this item perfectly encapsulates the values we share, a commitment strong, stable, and respected Nigeria and the continent and global stage. It's a symbol of our shared vision for the future where Nigeria is a beacon of progress and good hope for the continent. I thank you so much for the honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for the speaker and, of course, the chairperson of ANPBOGC. Thank you so very much. We're going to have a group photograph very quickly before the speaker leaves. Can we invite those of you on the front row? Please come forward. Those of you on the front row, please. Take this first. This is going to be the first picture, and then after this we're going to be inviting, can the rest of us please step down briefly for the time being. We're going to be inviting all participants from member countries to then join them, but that will be done in a manner that will be inviting the speaker and those of them on the front row to come down to the lower platform, and those of you from member countries will now have enough space up here to be able to join in the pictures. So can we please invite those of you here to please do us the honor of coming down to the lower platform, please. You're a special guest of honor, sir, so that the rest of your members can then join. They can't, if they stand here, they will block you. Okay. Heads of delegations from member countries, please. Heads of delegations from member countries. Can we have you very quickly, please? They will step forward, and then the rest of you will join. You can come up. Some can. Some others will have to be on this platform because I can't imagine this stage taking everybody. Yes. Please. Come over here, sir. Akwaba. To say, the rest of us can be on this platform, please, on the lower platform, because not everyone can come up. Just heads of delegations, just bear with us for the time being. Time is of the essence. And also, as soon as we're done with these photographs, we'll be going for a short tea break. And I'm told this tea and coffee break will be for just 30 minutes. 20? 30. So you can stretch your legs a little bit. As soon as you're done with photographs, can I please be told you're done, photographers? Are you done? Thank you very much, and we want to wish our special guest of honor and all of you a very brilliant day ahead of you. As you move out for tea break, please carry your materials and your valuables with you as you go for this tea break. And we'll see you on the other side when we're done with our tea breaks. We will allow the speaker to leave first.